You ever notice how the fourth quarter just feels different? The lights seem brighter, the noise hits harder, and something in you knows that that moment matters more. That's where leadership is built, not in the first quarter when everything's easy, but in the fourth. When you're tired, when things haven't gone the way you planned, and when you still have to show up. My own fourth quarter moment came when I ran for state officer for Georgia TSA, the Georgia Technology Student Association. It's a leadership organization that pushes students to grow in STEM, service, and personal development. The state officers represent tens of thousands of members, lead statewide events, and guide the future of the organization. You see, I wanted this more than anything. For most of my life, I lived in second place, second in rankings, second in recognition, second in every single competition. It almost became a motto for me, always second, never first. And when I ran for state officer for the first time, I thought this would be the moment I finally broke through. I thought this would be the moment I finally placed first. So I poured everything into it. My preparation, my confidence, my entire personality. I believed I was fit for the position, and I believed even more that if others had more experience, that my charming personality could carry me through. However, when they called those names, my name was not one of them. I simply hadn't won. And the sting of that loss was heavier than any scoreboard I had ever seen. And as the high school drone and film person for my high school football team, I had seen a lot of scoreboards in my time. However, I still smiled for pictures, shook hands, congratulated others. But on the inside, it felt like the air had been taken out of my lungs. But in that moment, what I didn't realize was that was just the beginning of my fourth quarter. It was the moment my real leadership journey began. The next year, as I pulled myself back together, life threw me yet another challenge. My best friend passed away from cancer. The grief was overwhelming. The anger was overwhelming. God, I was so angry at him. Like, how could he do this to me? It felt like life itself had stopped. Like my fourth quarter had ended before I even had a chance to play. And yet I knew I couldn't give up. He wouldn't have wanted me to. His memory became part of my perseverance. Every time I felt like quitting, I thought of him. Every time I doubted myself, I remembered him. And what I remembered the most was that leadership was not about avoiding the pain. It was about continuing through it. So I continued, and around this time, I learned about the 5 natural voices of leadership, and it changed the way I led. Leadership is not a one-size-fits-all. It's a blend of voices, each with their own strengths. And to make it relatable, I connect each one to a football position. The nurturer is the center, the person who pays attention and notices when someone's off. The center doesn't get much spotlight, but nothing would happen without them. The creative is the wide receiver, the person who spots possibilities others overlook. Wide receivers change the game by seeing space where no one else does. And they bring that same exact mindset to leadership, rethinking what's possible. The guardian is the linebacker, person who pays attention and isn't afraid to ask the questions. They like systems, routines, and doing things the right way. Sometimes they come off as blunt, but it's not about shutting ideas down. It's about protecting teams from preventable mistakes. The connector is the quarterback, the person who's great at bringing everyone together and making sure you understand the plan. They're really good at communicating an idea effectively so it actually lands. And finally, the pioneer. The pioneer is the running back, the person who wants the ball when everything's on the line. They think fast, move fast, and push even harder. However, the same intensity that makes a pioneer effective can also make them hard to follow. At times, they can ignore input, shut down ideas, and push their own agenda. And unfortunately for me, I considered myself a pioneer. But But what the fourth quarter taught me was that just being a pioneer was simply not enough. I needed to hone in on every voice. I needed the nurturer's care, the creative's innovation, the guardian's discipline, and the connector's relationships. You see, someone once told me, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And that phrase became a motto. Because after all, the fourth quarter is uncomfortable. It is exhausting, but it's also where growth happens. In football, players train relentlessly for the fourth quarter. They train to push their bodies past fatigue and to perform under pressure. Leadership is no different. You have to train your mind and your spirit to keep going even when you want to stop. And that training doesn't happen in the easy moments. It happens in the losses, the grief, the setbacks. It happens when you rank second again, when you feel overlooked, and when you wonder if your efforts even matter. In spite of these feelings, I continued on. The next year, I stood in a massive hockey arena, and I could feel the weight of the expectation, the weight of needing to win. I felt my heart pounding, my stomach twisting. But I also felt something else. I felt clarity. I understood the game better. I understood myself better. My nerves, my preparation, my confidence, it all came together. I now knew I had to make connections with people and make relationships. And I had to show adversity through the embarrassing moments. And boy, did I have some embarrassing moments. I can still remember campaigning, talking to members, and passing out my materials, and watching as one snapped a glow stick and it shot straight into my eye. I literally started crying neon green tears. Can't even make it up. But what I learned the most was that not everything had to be in the spotlight. It was the simple conversations that mattered the most. And so when I won this time, it wasn't just a victory for me. It was a testament to the lessons learned through failure, reflection, and continued effort. It was proof that perseverance pays off. You see, leadership is not about being first. I was never first. I was almost always second. It's not about titles or recognition. It's about showing up in the fourth quarter when the outcome is uncertain, when everything's on the line. The 5 voices are not abstract concepts. They are practical tools. Football shows us this truth time and time again. Teams don't win championships because of one star. They win because the voices blend, because the quarterback connects, the receiver innovates, the linebacker grounds, and the running back pushes forward. So I want you to think about your own fourth quarter moments. Maybe it's a challenge at work that just feels impossible. Maybe it's a personal challenge that is weighing you down. Or maybe you're like me, a dream that feels just out of reach. Whatever it is, remember, perseverance, guided by the balance of the 5 natural voices, will be your most powerful tool. Thank you.